Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78 here in Waukegan at My Cabins. Look at this, they manufacture everything right here in Waukegan. It's a father and son-in-law duo. I'm gonna talk to both of them now for this story from the 78, but pretty cool. Everything here manufactured, made in the United States, in the Chicago area, a lot of it happening in the Waukegan area, from lumber to the builders to the parts, the whole thing. That is this story from the 78. A work in progress for sure, but check that out. All happening here in Waukegan. I got the two gentlemen in charge, Hamong and his son-in-law, Peter. How are you guys?
Doing well. Yeah.
So tell me about this. You know, this is something that's fairly new to the market. It is a working facility. That's why that you hear that noise going on. But talk about your company and how it got started.
Yeah, so our manufacturing company is called PrefabPads, and we started this in the beginning of 2022. We struck up a partnership with a Latvian brand called My Cabin. They've been featured in a lot of major publications for design, and they had a really good following and interest level in the US, and they wanted to expand, so we kind of had the perfect setup where we brought the brand to the US. So we brought a Latvian product, converted to US building code, updated all of our...
Couldn't have been easy.
It was not easy. It took quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
And really found a lot of US-based suppliers for our materials, making sure everything was up to the standards that we wanted of long-lasting quality stuff. And so went through that whole process. We started building towards the end of August, September, and we started shipping units out at the beginning of this year.
And one of the units right behind you here is almost done. It's not done. Everything in here is not done yet,
Yeah.
but that's what it looks like in the final stages. And then everything that you see here on the factory floor, or the manufacturing floor, are all the different processes of it being done, correct?
Yeah, so we go everything from framing the unit to bringing in the insulation to all the finish work. So this unit has all of its exterior cladding, its standing seam metal roof, the really thick windows that we put in. So this one's probably a couple days from being done, and then the other ones that we're seeing are 1 to 2 to 3 weeks away from being complete.
And I'll get to what makes this different from a lot of other things, but I wanted to talk about how do you go into business with your son-in-law? I mean, a lot of people say don't do business with your family, but you did. But you had experience up in Kenosha, right? You had your own business for years.
That's correct, yeah. I come from a family business background, family business which is close to 100 years old now in different parts of the world. So I'm very used to working with family. Yes, there are always pros and cons and ups and downs, but I think through good communication and understanding, it's just another relationship. So whether it's an employee or a son-in-law or a brother, if you communicate well and you have good channels open, it works.
Yeah, it's also marital advice as well, right?
Well, yeah, and then
I try not to do too much of
yeah,
that.
but to add to it, we actually brought my wife and his daughter on board.
No pressure for you, Peter.
To head up our sales. So I've got to come in from multiple angles. But no, it's good. I think they've got such a strong family, and being a part of that, I think we have a really tight-knit group that can do something like this. And we're going to make sure that we make that work, and obviously bringing on everyone else in the company that's outside of the family, and just making sure everyone's kind of working as a family together. So
yeah, and you shipped out about 2 so far because you just started. 3 because you started late last year.
Yeah. Towards the end of the summer, coming into fall. So we're really early, but we've kind of gotten past the initial headaches and hurdles, and now we're on to just streamlining production and scaling in a responsible way. We don't want to try to get too big too quick.
Right.
So we're taking on orders, making sure we follow our standard operating procedures and refine them, and then scale our team as we take some orders that are starting to come in.
And you can go as far as Maine, which you sent one earlier, out west, all over the United States.
We've sent 2 units to Connecticut, 1 to Maine. The one behind us is going to Pennsylvania. The one in production here is going to upstate New York. And then we have another small one going to Utah. So we're really spanning east and west.
How long does it take, from beginning phases? As people look online and pick out what they're looking for? Do they have somebody help? And then how long does it take from when you pick it out to when they get it delivered to their house?
Yeah, so we have 4 models to pick from the My Cabin line. Everything from a sauna to a small accessory unit to a full studio lofted bed with a kitchen, and then now our newest model, which is a full ground floor, 1 bedroom, bathroom, kitchen with an island, whole setup. The unit, depending on which one we're building, it spans from 2 to 3 months for production. We also have the initial plan creation, so we take a customer's address and we create custom plans that address their building codes.
Sure.
And they get stamped and sealed for the permit submission. And then the permitting process can take 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. We don't, that's always the question mark.
Yeah, it's always up to the
And then
government.
from there, we get into our production, which is 2, 3 months. That'll also depend on how busy our production floor is, but that's what we really aspire to, is 2 to 3 months for our build of our units. Place them on a truck, they get shipped in 2 to 3 days, depending on the location, and then it's really setting on a prepared foundation that the customer...
And that's the biggest difference. There's a foundation that they need to go on.
These are treated like true real estate. So they
Right.
sit on a real foundation that we've designed, and you have your water, your sewage, and your electric. Depending on the unit, maybe you'll only have electric, but those are the 3 main utility lines that you'll bring in and connect. The nice part is that all of that work on site is done while we are producing the cabin. So you're not
waiting.
You're not waiting
like
while that's
typical
done and then
construction.
stick building up. So everything should really streamline the process. We also build in a controlled environment, so we're not introducing any rain, snow to the unit at all. So it's fully sealed, and just everything we know is not holding moisture or rotting. It's all done correctly.
Right, which I got to imagine for the workers to be in a controlled environment, to work in a controlled environment, especially here in the upper Midwest.
Yeah.
It's got to be a good selling point, right?
Yeah.
It's very attractive for them. And once they start working here, they realize the benefit of working indoors in a climate control, steady work. It's not project by project that they're used to traditionally in outdoor construction work. So that is a big plus in trying to attract good people.
Right, and it's 10-hour days, 4 days a week,
Right.
so even that's progressive in itself.
Yeah, we're trying to do the things that the guys like and everyone's happy with, and we're trying to build a little bit something that's different than your traditional construction or manufacturing. I have actually a tech background, so kind of bringing in like some of the things you might have in a regular office environment to a industrial setting, and the guys are happy not to be shoveling for the first 2 hours of their day.
Yeah, sure. And
day.
bathrooms are warm.
Yeah.
I mean, being out in the field all the time, the first place you go is where's the bathroom, you know, and knowing that you're going to have heated bathrooms to work in warm, climate controlled, wonderful, because that makes all the difference for sure, and better quality of work, right?
Yeah. That's the idea. We can control our material usage, less waste. We know exactly what we're putting into each unit, and the guys just they enjoy being here and working in a comfortable environment. I think that makes the work go faster and smoother.
So for folks who want to learn more about you guys and what you do, what's the best way for them to do that?
I think the best way to see what we're building is to visit the website. So we are our own manufacturing company called PrefabPads, but the brand has its website for the modules that we're building, and that's www.mycabin.us.
Got it.
That has all the information on the units we build. We try to keep all information uploaded there as we refine and add more details on our finishes, our appliances, and then there's a way to contact us from that website, and that'll come directly to our head of sales, who will follow up and get all the information put together and help the customer along the path.
But so it sounds like, if you do it right, you can look, buy, and receive less than a year.
Yeah, I mean, the whole process...
Depending on the size.
Yeah, depending on the size. But, I mean, even with permitting, it should be at most 6-month process.
Yeah, that's great, especially for somebody who's got like maybe, I don't know, a father or mother-in-law moving in, or you want to put a pool house in your backyard, something like that, where you really want to, and it adds value to your property because it counts as a permanent structure.
I was going to say that because it is going on a real foundation. This is not on wheels, and your tiny homes that you've been seeing. Mm-hmm. This is real square footage added to your property, if that's the way you go.
Sure.
Some other, this is going in a backyard, so this is adding value as extra square footage in an office in his backyard. This is going to upstate New York, only unit on the property in short-term rental. So that is the other big,
Smart though.
yeah, that is the other
AIRBNB
big
action.
play here is short-term rentals. And even multiple units on a piece of property, renting out as a little boutique resort. And that's, I think, a really big opportunity within this space.
Well, you guys are less than a year in, but I mean, congratulations so far. You're working. The family business is continuing to grow. Yeah. So much luck to the both of you and your family and everybody here for much success in the future.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. The story of My Cabins and the manufacturing process here in the Waukegan area. TomBarnishChicago@gmail.com. If you have a suggestion for a story from the 78, head over to the website, storiesfromthe78.com, and check it out. Thanks a lot.